Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Chris, and this is the Momentum Log, Day 8. Let's go. So, listen, it's been 8 days since I started this little project of building a process of like documenting what it looks like to build a process. And what I mean by that is, like, you guys know, I'm building an offer and a process that I lead people through to help them stay in momentum, to help them get out of the stuck feeling that they're in. Usually as creatives, and I'll talk some more about that later, but like creatives, especially if you're, selling stuff and you have something that you're selling people, a lot of times it's easy to get stuck in either feeling like you're not building the thing you wanted to build, or that the art, the things that you're creating, the things you care about isn't really showing through anymore. It's not really fulfilling you anymore. It's starting to feel just kind of like something you have to show up and do. I hate that. And honestly, all of my work was feeling like that. So that's why I'm starting something new. And I'm going to be honest with you, because I told you I would document the process here. Over the last 8 days, it's been sort of up in the air, like around here. We have a sickness that ran through the whole family, and it's just kind of been crazy. And so I had to build on the margins, and that happened usually at night, like after midnight. So I did a lot of work late at night this week, and I honestly got into a flow, and was able to get some stuff through that was mine. Because and this has been one of my worries, is that I've offered a lot of different things. My wife and I, we started our photography business. She started it in 2007, and I joined a few years later after I graduated college, and then we started building that together. And so that was our life. Like, we've only ever done business. We've only ever made money for ourselves, right? And I think that's a totally it's kind of crazy that's the way it's been, because we went from a photography business, and I started a marketing business, helping people with their marketing. And then I started selling online courses. And then I started helping people with their virtual events, and then their in-person live events. And then started helping people with their marketing tech. So I've kind of been all over the place with stuff that I'm talking about on the internet. And so a fear of mine is something that I've thought about, and then maybe this is be useful to you too, because I don't know, maybe you think about it, maybe you don't, is I think if I start talking about something new, because I feel like I have offer whiplash, right? Like, I'm going back and forth. I feel like I have that. So I think everybody else is going to feel like that too if I start talking about something different. And so I've battled with that, but here's the truth. And I'll tell you a story. So I saw a post from a guy, and it was a marketer, and he said, I disappeared off the internet for 6 weeks. I didn't tell anybody. I just left. And this is what the post said. And my first thought was, dude, nobody noticed. Nobody knew that you weren't posting anymore. I'm sorry, but people weren't paying attention to that. And so that's the truth for you too. Like if you aren't, if you don't have 1 million followers or 1 million subscribers on YouTube or whatever, nobody's going to probably notice if you just disappear. Like this video series, for example, this is cool, but probably a lot of you guys maybe saw the first one. You're thinking, oh, that'll be cool to hear the follow up to this and kind of follow this journey. Maybe you thought that, but the truth is, if I just ghosted and didn't post this and didn't continue talking about this, would you really have noticed? Like, maybe you might have noticed, maybe you might have thought about it a few weeks later. Like, oh, I haven't seen that video from Chris. Maybe you might have thought that, but more than likely, you just would have continued on with your life and doing your own thing, because that's what people do. And so I'm telling you that to tell you that, this is something I've worried about, but also to encourage you that people just aren't paying that much attention. And so it's okay to talk about something new. So this week though, I was able to build a process, and it's a process that I have uncovered for myself, and it's one I've been using myself, and I was doing it sort of without even knowing it, just based on what I was doing before. And I sort of uncovered it and am now practicing it more intentionally. And the goal is for it to be something I can lead people through that is going to help them achieve the same things that I did. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in a second here. But the truth is that I want to develop a process that people could follow because I believe that a process is the thing that people actually buy. So whatever your work is, the thing that people are buying from you is your process, because they can figure out stuff anywhere. They can figure out stuff on the web. So I've always said, like, if you can develop something that's not Googleable, that ChatGPT is not going to spit out. If you can develop something like that, that is going to become the thing that's valuable. And, as AI becomes more and more prevalent, it's about to storm outside, more and more prevalent, those type of skills, being able to lead someone through a process that you developed, that plus being able to help people do stuff in person, in real life, and being able to lead people and being able to share your creative vision, those are going to be the tools of the future that really drive things forward. And I it's impossible. I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to theorize on what's to come. I don't freaking know. But what I do know is that those skills seem to be the things that are sticking out in my mind as irreplaceable. And so what does it look like then to become more resilient as a creative moving forward in this world? And that's a question that I've been trying to answer for myself since really 2015. I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine who were really big in the photography industry at the time, and they had been shooting for a long time. And Jen and I were discussing, what does it look like to do this over a long period of time? Because the real sign of a resilient creative or resilient human, whatever, is the ability to show up and create good work again and again for a long time. What does it look like to do that? And what does it look like to do that no matter what comes, no matter if AI, I don't know if you guys saw the Google AI stuff. This is crazy. But no matter what AI does, no matter what the economy does, no matter who's in office, no matter what does it look like to stay in a state of resilience? That's the question that I'm answering with this new process. And I'm going to show you real quick what I've built, and just as a point of documenting. So here we go. I'm going to pull it up on the computer right here so you can see it. So this is the page I built, and I'm going to be sending this out to my email list later. So if you're on my email list, you'll be one of the first people to see this. But this is sort of the launch pad of what I call the resilient creative. And I'm a marketer, but I wanted to write this truly from just a place of honesty, the best I could, without making it, super lengthy and overly detailed and stuff. We can talk about that in other ways, but I wanted to just walk people through what the journey was like to come to this conclusion. And so that was why I started this here. And my phone's about to die, which is my camera here, second camera. So, but it's all true. I joined these high-end masterminds. I felt like everything was working. I had everything: the beautiful family, thriving business, ability to travel and make art all across the world, bought and sold 2 houses. And all of that turned into broke, doing work that I hate, on the verge of divorce and bankrupt. Right? And I feel like I literally felt like someone had erased my memory of what it looked like to make cool stuff. So anyway, this is all that I wrote here. And then as you can see, it's all this pain happened. It truly was born out of pain. All of this was I have to do something different. And so what did I do? And I talked about all the things that I tried and that weren't working really. But I started doing all of these things here that you see here: waking up early, breath work, tapping, meditation, cold plunges, journaling, jujitsu, all kinds of different therapy work. I went to a meditation session one time where we literally just screamed. It was awesome. Actually, I can tell you guys about that later. But I tried everything. But what I started to notice is that some things felt better than others. Some things left me feeling better than others. Some things left clues. And that's when I noticed the pattern that I call the resilient creative system. And so, as you can see here, as I built this system, it's real simple. The first step is to ground, literally ground yourself into the moment. And the way I normally like to do this, and if you've been on this channel, you've seen me do this, which is just to take a breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And whenever I do that with a client or with anybody in person, immediately you're here, right? You can feel it. And so that's part of it, is to ground, right? And so I'm walking you through this. The next step is to clear. I usually use EFT tapping or Ho'oponopono, very basic breathwork stuff. It's very, very simple to get clear. And the whole purpose of this is to get clear on what to do next, right? So we ground and we clear and then we act. How do we know what to act on? Well, now we've come to all this, like literally I could have walked you through this in like 2 minutes just now. We ground and we clear and then we take action. The action will present itself. It may feel like nothing. Like what I'm doing right now felt like an action. It felt like nothing. I just had the idea of like momentum log. I just want to log and document this. And then I did it right away. And that's the next step. As soon as you possibly can, create. Guys, this is how we return to the feeling of being yourself. I was working with a client one time, and I think I may have said this on the last video, but what he said was that we did walk through this process, and he said, I feel like I can feel myself again. And that was so powerful to me, because what I realized was that that's what it's all about. This is about returning to the stuff that's inside, that's who you are, that made you want to do this stuff in the first place, dude. So what does it look like to stay resilient? It looks like a returning. Like you embarked on this journey, you started this journey and maybe things got crazy, maybe things got out of hand, maybe it's not exactly where you wanted to be anymore, maybe the work you're doing you don't like anymore, whatever it is. We can return to a sense of myself. And if you can feel that for real, that becomes fire for what to do next and how to step forward. And if you actually take the action and don't become overwhelmed and just sink back into this shell of yourself, if you actually move forward, that's when stuff starts to take fire again, man. And here's the truth. It's going to be required, hear me, required for the future. If you actually want to continue to thrive and be a resilient creative, you have to return back. And so I developed a system for exactly that. And the next step is to integrate. I heard someone describe the heroine's journey. And I'm going to try to do an interview with her at some point, but she talked about the heroine's journey, which is different from the hero's journey because it includes this step of returning home and integrating. And it's actually, it's not just male or female. It's like the hero in a story, male or female, will do this. They just leave it out because it's more of a feminine thing where you literally integrate. When I say feminine, I don't mean like male or female. I mean like the feminine energy of stepping into like, okay, how can I integrate what just happened? I just created something. I just got still. I listened for an action. I created something. Now I need to return back to this new reality, right? Like returning back into dealing with the fact that like I'm still in this situation, even though I just had this huge moment of clarity. I'm still in this situation. How do I integrate that piece so that I can move forward? And again, it comes back to just either writing down, journaling, or doing a little meditation on it. Now, when I walk people through this process, this is something that I teach you, and I will help you with the integration process. But that's it. So it's 5 steps. Sorry. Ground, clear, act, create, and integrate. And it follows this circle a lot like the hero's journey, which I really, really like. Right. So I put this up, and this is the process. And there's an offer down here. I'm not going to go into that right now, but I'll drop the link here so you can check it out if you want. But that's the process that I developed. And the reason why I want to show you that is because that was the whole goal. The whole goal this week, really, I was just hoping to just get one section done, but I ended up getting the whole thing like complete, right? Because it was just there. And honestly, that's what tends to happen when you do put yourself through this process, because, you know, I've talked a lot about momentum on this channel, and one of the things that I do with people, and I do lives on the channel as well, is called momentum mapping. And the whole purpose of that is to define the quest and then define what we're going to do and then build momentum slowly over time. Because momentum is not about going super fast. It's about going at a speed in a particular direction, right? It doesn't matter exactly what the speed is. You pick up speed as you go. The point is to get rolling, right? To get rolling. And the truth is that like when you do get clear and follow this process that I've developed, and I'll continue to update you guys on this and show you how to use it. That's what I want to do next is like, how can you use this? And I'll show you maybe the next video, I'll walk through that and I'll do some work this week onto really perfecting what that's going to look like for people to walk through. But when you use this and get clear, you can move a lot faster and stay in momentum. And that's the goal. So anyway, that's what happened this week. That's what I'm documenting as the momentum log for the week. I hope you guys had a fantastic week. Thank you for following along. If you want to continue here, make sure to subscribe to the channel and I'd really appreciate that. All that YouTube stuff. I'll drop a link here down here to this page. I mean, I'm not trying to sell you anything. If you think I'm trying to sell you, just don't go to the page. All right, don't worry about it. You just saw everything there except for the offer anyway. So if you think I'm trying to sell it for you, I'm not. Just go to the page if you want to. Okay. But until next time, y'all. My name is Chris. This has been the Momentum Log, where I'm documenting my process of building something from scratch. If you'd like to see more of that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.